Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Peyton Tantz of New Paradigm Psychology, bringing you my weekly video. And this video is titled, I Think, Therefore I Am. And so we're going to dive into a fundamental question and inquiry that is at the heart, really, of human psychology, spiritual awakening, psychological healing, this core question of who am I? What is the self and how do I relate to my thoughts? So what is the relationship between myself, who I am at the core, and my thinking? And so we're going to dive into this inquiry. Thank you all for being here. I'm excited to bring you this content forward today to support you in your own journey. And please do subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. I am beginning to grow this channel and wanting to get these messages out to everyone who resonates with them and who can benefit. So thank you for listening and for sharing. Okay, so I'm gonna dive into a little fun philosophical piece here. Okay, so William Descartes was a philosopher, right? The Cartesian age, as we call it, was founded upon this basic principle or premise which was established in the paradigm. And it was part of establishing what we now call the Cartesian Paradigm. Okay, all based on an assertion, was thought to be a realization at the time, that I think, therefore I am. Okay? So this is an assertion that the self, that the existence, the existence of myself is affirmed because I'm a thinker, right? So if we accept a paradigm based on I exist because I think, and the opposite of which is when I don't think, I don't exist, right? That is setting up a basic platform for reality, for the self, right? Myself, my inherent, the reality of that which I am is affirmed because I'm a thinker, okay? And the truth of the matter, in fact, what I would say is I am, therefore I think. Okay? And so this is a paradigm shift, right? From a reality, an ego structure, a sense of self that's rooted in I think, therefore I am, to one that's rooted in I am, therefore I think. So let's break this down together. So really the I think therefore I am paradigm is based on the idea that myself is inherently married with thought. Okay? That my sense of self, my identity, is defined through the act of thinking. And so this is, this is basically the state of unconsciousness that we've all been living in and that we all continue to live in until we wake up, until we inquire, until we become curious about our inner landscape and our psychology and what is going on here. Who are we? Right? The inner matrix, the inner workings of our own psyche, and actually coming into conscious relationship with our thoughts, okay? So this paradigm of a self that is defined through thought is really an ego-based paradigm, right? Because the egoic structure, the ego itself, is in fact all formulated through thought. So the whole idea, okay, an idea is a thought. So the idea of myself that comes into being in the form of a thought, I am all the ways we define the self, right? I am this, I am that, all the different, we could go through the list of the ways that we define the self. But I'm just breaking it down to the nuts and bolts of the structure here to see that all the ways that we can define ourselves through an egoic self are all based in thought, okay? And until we wake up, that is actually how we experience ourselves and how we unconsciously relate to ourselves. That I am, my I am is linked, is married, is merged with thought, okay? So until we wake up out of that egoic trance of a self, where everything that we're just unconsciously, this is who I am, and I go throughout my day and I'm constantly referencing the ego, consciously and unconsciously referencing the ego, referencing ideas, moving through life through thought, from thought, as thought, okay? So this is really an unconscious ego-based orientation where I just am my thoughts. There isn't any distance in between myself and thinking. Okay, I am the thinker, I am the doer, and it's all being orchestrated through the mechanism of the mind and the thoughts. Okay, and then there's layers upon layers of different things that are happening in thought, right, that kind of overlap and so forth. It gets complicated. But what I'm highlighting here today is the way that that actually isn't the truth. What I'm affirming and what I think even in psychology and in spiritual teachings, when we really inquire, what we recognize is that we in fact exist, the beingness, the consciousness, in fact exists prior to thought, okay? A priori would be the philosophical term. Exists prior to, as a more fundamental reality that exists independent of thought, okay? So what I'm affirming here is, well, in fact, what we find is that the truth of the matter is that I am. Before, during, and after, I am a thinker. Okay, so that we recognize that actually the truth of myself is independent, is the light of consciousness, is the witness to thought. Okay? Now, it's complicated because at the same time as a human being, we are the thinker. As this organism, we are the one that's operating this organic structure, this being, this creature. So I am the thinker because this is my human experience, this is my mind, and I'm the one in the center of this mind-body complex that is engaging in thought and feeling the sensation and operating this organic machinery. But at the same time, I am also the underlying substrate conscious being that precedes thought, okay? So what I'm affirming here, and I'm inviting each of us to inquire for ourselves, is, what is the truth? What is your experience? And to highlight the fact that this shift from I am, I think, therefore I am, to I am, therefore I think, is the fundamental shift in the psyche that needs to happen in order for us to begin to have self-consciousness, to become more conscious and awake as a being, right? So living in a more conscious and awakened state of being from an unconscious and asleep, conditioned, egoic, fully egoic-based condition or state of being, okay? So essentially, what this is the practice of recognizing what the truth is in your direct experience. So what I'm going to affirm and invite you to inquire for yourself is that actually when the mind can relax just a little bit its hold on the sense of I am, okay, if the mind can relax its claim on the I am, which is just the present being that is here, the I am presence, or the pure conscious awareness that is the underlying reality that's lighting up this experience, right? What we find when we inquire is that, in fact, if we can get the mind to release the I am and labeling itself as the being, as the self, that the I am, that which I actually am, is fully here 100%, and is in fact even more here when thought isn't present, because thought isn't sort of engaging with it and labeling it and processing, but that actually I am, therefore I think, is actually the truth. And so I want to just invite each of you into this inquiry in yourselves. And to, this is sort of the classic Vipassana type meditation, mindfulness meditation of watching your mind, watching your, the thought flow just come into your experience and flow out. And it can be tricky depending on how wound up the mind is, okay? So, saying, well, all you have to do is just relax and realize that you're not your mind, that's a tall order, right? So we have to learn how to relax first. So, doing practices that help us to self-regulate and to calm the nervous system down are very helpful to help us get into a parasympathetic state, to begin to relax, and to engage in this practice of inquiry. And I think this piece, out of the whole conversation about healing and transformation and psychological spiritual awakening, this is really the crux of the matter that has to be unwound in order to open up a space for self-awareness, okay? So this opens up when we even just a little bit, just for a moment at a time. It doesn't have to be a go into a 20-minute meditation where I just don't have any thoughts. No, that's not necessary. And really, you can practice this at any moment in time throughout your day. You can just sit and even just focus on your environment, just looking around, just being in your sensory body. Okay, when we put our attention on our sensory body, it helps the mind to relax and it gives the mind something to focus on. So one really sweet practice that I'll leave you with here to utilize is just looking at a candle flame, for example, or a flower. Something that you can just focus your attention on, that's beautiful, that's attractive, that gives you a sense of tranquility, and just sit and breathe and just stare at the candle flame or the flower and just allow everything to relax. Just come into a state of beingness with the candle flame or the flower. You can also just practice this really like at a stoplight or any time throughout your day where there's a natural pause, where you can literally just let your mind let the I am go and let the I am just be in the inner being, in the light of consciousness that doesn't have to think itself into being in order to exist. It exists in an even state, an unchanging state as the underlying reality to every moment. And so this is the teaching of the week. This is my offering. I think it's a fun inquiry for you all to take on for yourselves. And again, just noticing what the truth is. All we're looking at here, I'm not telling you what it is, although I'm telling you what my experience is of it. I'm inviting you into your own inquiry. What do you notice when you can let the sense of your identity release from the mind and notice that you exist prior to thought arising, while thought is arising, and as thought releases? The I am presence is a constant underlying all three states of being. So prior to thought, during thought, and after thought, I am. Okay? So I'm curious how that goes for everyone, and I'm going to leave it here for now. And if you're interested in learning more about my work, you can go to my website, newparadigmpsychology.com. And I will announce here real quick that I'm going to be offering a free online event coming up in a couple weeks called The Alchemy of Transformation. And I will be telling you more about that very soon. Okay, everyone. Bye for now.